Are we live? Oh crap, hold on. All right, y'all, let me know if you can hear me. We just had it literally tell me streaming wasn't available for half a second. Hello, Austin. Welcome. Magic Malangle, good to see you in here. Animal Man, welcome. Oga, welcome back. Good to see you too. So I'm guessing you all can hear me now. Because, like I said, it was telling me stream not available. And I was like, well, it better be. Cool. Jacob, welcome. Welcome. All right, we got quite a few people up in here already. Peachy, I see you there. How are you? Welcome. At least I can. Well, Peachy, I didn't see you pop up until just now. Now I'm saying your name. Mortimer, welcome. Good to see you. Been a while, man. Oh, Austin, Sakura. Yeah, that'd be helpful. That way I keep it straight on who's in stream and who you are in Discord. I have enough trouble remembering names. And pronounce them, as many of you already know that. So, hope everyone has had a fantastic week. And I just realized I did not turn my phone off. And we all know how that can lead to some bad experiences. I'm trying to even remember how to do that now. Got a new phone, so still learning how to use that sucker. So, I have had an interesting week. A very, very interesting week. Been very busy, very productive, at least on my end. Some of you noticed I've not been in the Discord as much this week, but that's okay. Luckily, the admin have been doing a great job of keeping things fun and lively and keeping the discussions going in my absence. But I have been working on some good videos that we got coming up soon, as well as the Dragon Magic 102 course. And I've been making time for some of my own research and diving into that as well. Some of which I'm hoping to be able to share real soon with all of you. And recently my wife made it home this week, so I've also been spending time with her and spoiling her, which is always good. I've missed her. And of course, finally got my phone replaced, which that was well overdue. Let's see. Other than that, I've just been dealing with issues that the entities I work with have brought to me, like Odin and the dragons and other things. And trying to answer some really, really interesting questions about Magick that I've been getting through email and through the Discord and other things. So it's been a busy, productive week. It's just, I guess you could say it's from a storytelling perspective, it might be one of my slower weeks, but it has been productive. Oh, and actually, the canvas for Tempestra came in. Tell me that does not look awesome. The color on this, again, looks better on the canvas than it does in the digital art. Is that not freaking awesome? Oh, she's doing great today. She's been chilling out, relaxing. She had a spot of great news. Um, she's just been enjoying being home, really, trying to get back into the swing of things. So she's pretty much just been chilling out and relaxing. No problem, Austin. If you got to focus on your game, I understand, man. Appreciate you dropping in. Do drop us a like, though. Make sure everyone who's here drops a like. Again, it helps the channel out a lot. And if for some reason I miss your question, we do have Super Chat. You can use that, make a donation, and it flags your questions, pops up real big on my screen so I can't miss it. Or if you just want to make a donation to the channel and the work we're doing here to get the information out, you can do that as well. After Rock Radio, my email address is in the About section. Just go to the About section on the YouTube channel, and you'll see the email address I use for the channel. It is. That picture came out freaking awesome. Sarah did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. And the effort she put in and the time she put in working with the 9 rulers and me, because again, we did this through evocation where the rulers had to literally approve her artwork. And if they demanded a change, she made that change. So until they were happy with it, it was not done. And the work that she put into it and the time, I mean, it was hands down an awesome project to see undertaken. And I'm beyond grateful for it. She was definitely the right artist for that job. Yeah, Mortimer, I sat down and I chewed through Peace Talks already. I took a day off and chewed through it. It was a good book. It was a good book. Magical Malengo. Can guardian dragons have worked with someone before? Yeah, they can. Again, a guardian dragon's not just, it's not like it's only assigned to you ever in all eternity. And compared to a dragon, our lifespans are just like that. So when you figure a guardian dragon's a very young dragon, and they hold that position for anywhere from 500 to 1,000 years, depending on the particular guardian. Yeah, they could work with a lot of magicians in that time frame. A lot. Hey, Bernaldez, good to see you. Emma, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. No problem. No problem. After Rock Radio, that's fine. I try to be as accessible as I can. And I do try to answer. Now, I will admit, I get a lot of emails. So be patient with me because I got a lot of stuff to sort through. So do be patient with me on that. Because if you start spamming me, then you're probably going to go into the spam folder and not get your question answered. Senor Pizzetto Malo. Oh, my Lord. Man, I do remember you. I remember that name giving me so much trouble. And again, I'll apologize if I mess it up. Great to have you back. And yeah, I'm still here. I'm still doing my darndest to share information with people as best I can. Nomar, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Well, Malangle, that's not a bad question. A dragon won't lie to you, but they have been known to tell stories for entertainment purposes, not necessarily a lie. So there's that little gray area in there. Does smoke cleansing clear a dragon? You mean if you got a dragon in your house, will chase a dragon out? No. In fact, dragons have ability to ignore magic and energy altogether if they choose. So really, if a dragon doesn't want to leave, it's not going to leave. You really have to negotiate that crap. There's no way to just grab them by the ear and toss them out like you would any other spirits. So yeah, if you're doing some form of smoke cleansing or even a banishing ritual, they'll sit right there and watch you do it. They'll even help you do it. But it won't chase them away. I didn't even know YouTube had emotes, Austin. I'll be honest with you, man. Norma, I've worked with a few, though mostly Hades. I worked with Zeus a little bit. I had a brief stint with Aphrodite and Hermes, but mostly Hades was the one I worked with. And that's because I had a weak spot for him due to the way me and my wife met and our time back in school. Yes, we go that far back. We are high school sweethearts. So when I realized I could reach out and meet entities, I really wanted to reach out and meet him and get to know him. And he's kind of the one that first got me started in understanding how the different underworlds work and all that. And then he directed me later to go work with Hell, which was kind of my first exposure into the Norse pantheon. Even though Odin and Freya had called me much further prior to that, I didn't really work with them in depth till after. But that's really the only one I've worked with. I didn't spend a lot of time in the Greek pantheon. I do want to go back and do more with it, though. Yeah, we can speak on that. So the arcane sanctum or arcane space, this is essentially you enter a deep meditation, and you start with visualization work, and you picture yourself moving over to the astral. And the easiest way to do this is actually to create a glyph or a sigil so that is tied to your space and your sanctum. This is literally like the lock on the door, and you would utilize that during the meditation so that that's your focus point and that's where you're headed. And once you get to that point, sometimes it'll appear just a blank slate little pocket dimension. Other times you'll get there and it'll already have a structure to it. Either way, however, you can build it up and shape it as you want in any way, and it will take your will. So if you decide there's a mountain there, I don't like that mountain, poof, mountain's gone, and you can replace it with whatever you want. And you can basically sit there and just try different houses and everything, figuring out what you like if you want a house. It's literally becomes a creator's dream. You can just constantly create and destroy and remake it in any way you want, change it on a whim. But once you have that space set up, even if you just leave it a big blank void, you go there and you can reach out and contact entities and welcome them to it so that you can work with them. I do have a video on arcane sanctums. It covers those exact spaces pretty well. And yes, the muses are real, and they are an awesome group of entities to work with. I worked with them a little back in the day. What was I working on? I was working on some project, and I'm not a creative person. So since I was already poking around the Greek pantheon, I was like, let's give this a try. And they really did help me with my creativity and stuff back then. And I've been wanting to do more work with them, though, again, I've not really been on the Greek side. So it's one of those things where I spent more time working with the Fates and the Norns and trying to understand the comparison between those two groups. Mortimer, currently my desktop died. It finally died on me, which we were using mine because Linda's was having issues connecting the two streams. And when my desktop died, Linda's not been able to get her computer fixed. So, due to technical issues, at this point, it has turned into a solo coffee hour. And it's specifically called solo because Linda is working on getting that fixed, and we are also trying to figure it out on my end. So, we're still hoping to get the magical coffee hour back to its original and old format. Unfortunately, we have no ETA, and that's kind of a thing for me and Linda both. We both miss it. We keep communicating back and forth trying to figure it out. So far, we just keep hitting dead ends. But for now, it has become a solo coffee hour Sunday. Both of us need to fix our computers. Elves. Depends on the elves you're working with. So people use the term elves as a single category. And in some ways they are. All elves have very similar traits. And they do share some lineage. But for example, let's say you're in the 9 realms within the Norse. The elves there are pretty easy to work with because they've been the source of the elven bloodline comes from a Fey bloodline. So those elves have been outside the Fey lands long enough that the Fey law and all the issues that you have to juggle with Fey don't really affect them. So those elves are really easy to work with. The Fey elves, the ones that are still very, very close to that Fey bloodline, though, they get a lot trickier. And that's why it's really hard to know. You got to make sure what elf you're talking to. And you need to make sure that it's either one that's removed from the Fey bloodline or not. And usually they will tell you that. They will tell you if they're bound by Fey law. Which, if they're bound by Fey law, they can't lie to you, so that's helpful. But that's the only caveat that really I've ever worried about when working with elves is finding out whether they're Fey or not. But most of the elves I work with are in the 9 realms of the Norse. I don't think I've worked with any outside that other than the ones in the Fey realms. I know they exist, but I haven't really personally encountered them. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't even know where to find them now that I'm thinking about it. I know people's told me other groupings exist. I just don't know where you'd find them myself, personally. But yeah, both the Dark Elves and the Light Elves in the Norse pantheon, they're pretty chill to work with in most cases. But do treat them with respect. Don't get yourself in trouble. How do you get started working with deities, Emma? Well, first off, you do your research. Find a deity that you're interested in working with and getting to know. That is key. So if you check out my video on finding an entity or deity, that pretty much covers my process. And once you've done your research and you found one that you're drawn to, you enjoy their general lore and everything, then you start meditating on them. And that kind of brings that energy towards you a little bit, helps you start attuning with it and getting to know it. And then from there, I would move into trance work or just move to your astral sanctum and call to them so that they can send a small aspect of their energy to the sanctum to talk to. But if you're not ready for the astral sanctum, you can actually put in a small prayer or offering rite to them daily to try and start building a reputation. If you check out the hailing ritual, you could easily do just a specific hailing ritual for them, just that single entity, and give an offering, even if it's just a glass of water a day, and really start building that relationship up, and then move to the sanctum. Now, if you know how to do scrying, you can scry to talk with the entity as well. If you're trained in evocation, once you've made a reasonable connection, you can try to evoke them. And if you're good at journey work, you can attempt to journey to them in the astral or to their location. Though I do find it's good to know who they are and have talked to them once or twice before you just pop in on their house. It's not good to pop in unannounced and them not know you. No problem. Happy, man. Happy. Glad I was able to answer it. Yeah, I killed the poor PC. We all know computers don't like me. Most of the Greek ones I didn't have an issue with, though their personalities can get in the way. Like Zeus is very bolsterous and egotistical in a lot of ways, but at the same time, he can be pretty chill and just the kind of guy you want to sit down and talk to and let ramble on about stories. But his ego can get in the way, so it can be easy to butt heads with him. And so those personalities are the hard thing. Hades, him and I are very work ethic. We're very focused on work and logic. So him and I kind of hit it off pretty quick and easy. Hermes, me and him got along just because he loves to share information and knowledge. But he also was a bit too hyperactive for me. But in the short time I worked with him, I enjoyed him. Some of them, Hera, me and Hera didn't get along. I didn't really work with her much because, again, I didn't find her very approachable. So, as a pantheon, each of them differs so much that it's hard to say. But compared to the Norse, I'd say they're probably harder to approach because they don't really have the same rules of hospitality. And even the grumpy Norse entities, they'll still follow the hospitality rules, which kind of makes it a little easier to wiggle in there a bit. If that helps any. I'll check that out, Mortimer. Appreciate it. For protection? Well, honestly, I usually turn to the dragons for protection, but Thor's really good for protection. I've always found him great for it. Who else would I turn to for protection? See, I've been doing my own wards for so long, turning to an entity for protection, I'm having trouble thinking of them. Tyr's good for protection. Some people said Zeus. I don't know. Zeus is too finicky. I don't know how to trust him with protections. Freya is good with protections. So is, oh crap, Athena. Athena can be handy for protections. Ares can be pretty good with protections, but do know that Ares is also going to expect you to strengthen yourself. He won't do everything for you forever. I'm Austin. The chat seems to be working here. There's only one place where everybody's talking, so I'm not sure what's going on your end. Every time you reload the video, though, it will reload the chat for you, so that could be part of it if you're reloading. Senor, no. Lucid dreaming is actually an area I'm not a good person to ask. I've tinkered with it a lot, but I've never been able to get what I would view as reliable results. And because of that, the time investment to the results for me was never really worth it. So I've not sunk a lot of research into it. So no, unfortunately, other than just keep trying, I don't really have any good info there. I apologize. I'm more of an active, only do it when I'm awake kind of magician. I like to have that active control, and dream work just, it's never been reliable enough for me. Well, Peachy, the easiest way to find elves with no Fey to worry about that I can suggest and guarantee would be to go to Offelheim. I'll have to double check the name for you, which I can message you privately, but it is the realm which Freyr is over of the 9 realms, and it's also the home of the Light Elves. And it's a very summer type land all around. So that would be the easiest. You could also try Svartalfheim, where the Dark Elves live, but they're a bit grumpier and harder to work with. If you're new to it, I do recommend you start with the Light Elves. Like as a team, what? I think I missed part of your comment here, Malangle. Oh no, there are Greek laws of hospitality. That's just the Greek pantheon doesn't follow them. If you pay any attention to Greek mythology, the Greek gods are very big on breaking their own laws. The Norse gods, not as much. I'm not going to say they don't, but not as much. The hospitality laws mean a lot more to them. And you are correct. The hospitality rules are different. Good point. But when you can't count on them to follow it, I try not to just advise people to do it because, again, they don't always follow it. Zeus and Hera being some really great examples. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm trying to get caught up here. There's a lot coming in here. I'm taking too much time to answer. Hey, DeChan, welcome. Mathis, hey, you made it. Awesome. That's 2 streams in a row, man. We missed you. Oh, I'm sure it's for a friend, Peachy. I'm sure it is. Yes. Magician Girl has been putting out videos, as has Magical Malangle. So check out both their channels, people. Also, we got 12 people in here and 11 likes. That is amazing, people. Keep those likes coming. It really helps the channel. I highly appreciate it. No, that's one of the areas. Like I said, I don't know everything. You got to kind of pick your battles, and that's one of the areas where I just haven't sunk enough research into. Sad to say. I mean, I actually have like a notebook set aside to research it. It's just of all the things that it's like, okay, what I'm researching now, that's the notebook I never pick up. Maybe that'll be my retirement research. Who knows? Malia, take it easy, man. Thanks for dropping in. Emma, it is literally personal taste. You sit down, you play with it, you keep working with it until you find something that speaks to you. And honestly, as you grow and change as a person, your sigil itself will change. I have a tattoo on this arm that actually used to be my personal sigil, but it also had other meaning to me. So I started using it as my sigil because of the meaning it priorly had, which is actually why I got the tattoo, not because it was my sigil. But later in my practice, my sigil did change, but I still incorporated that symbol into the new sigil. And sometimes people just use their name and create their sigil. Sometimes it's an abstract shape. It's really a symbol of art that represents you. And when it feels right to you, it's right. You just got to sit down and sketch and play with it until it feels right. There's no like master sigil of a person in the multiverse. You just sit down and make it and figure it out and find what looks right and feels right to you. Um, I Leprechaun. I wouldn't try to catch one. I really wouldn't. Um, because generally speaking, catching the Fey is a great way to anger the Fey, and leprechauns fall into that category. Now, if you caught one, would they reward you for their freedom? I don't know. I really don't. The few leprechauns I've encountered have been mean little shits. Um, and I personally never caught one, though I've seen other Fae catch them, and they certainly did not seem agreeable. So I wouldn't advise it. And as to whether the legend of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow catch them and they give you wealth, I really don't know. I've never even thought to ask that, man. Sophia, welcome. Ajodar Bazdobel, welcome. If I messed that up, I apologize. I get that when I'm in video chat because I can sit so still that they're like, did it freeze? No, no. I'm just reading and not moving. Which comes in handy when I was a kid playing hide and seek. But yeah, it's not freezing. I can actually just sit that still. It drives my wife crazy a lot. She don't know how to do it. Can you switch from astral travel to soul travel and back? It would be difficult to do it, but theoretically, you might be able to. Though the shift would be. See, astral travel is just kind of an energetic projection. where soul travel actually takes your entire energy, body, and consciousness out. So to shift, basically, you've got like this massive line of energy that you're projecting in astral. And then you basically got to whiplash the hell out of everything and catch it back up to you, which that in and of itself is going to almost want to snap you out of the state required for them both. And then once you do that, you got to continue to soul travel, because soul travel is actually harder to do than astral travel. And you got to be able to gain that focus and that perception and be able to lock on and maintain that without snapping out of it. And then stepping backward, that actually almost sounds harder to step backwards, because then you got to split your consciousness back to your body without ending the astral travel. So in theory, it'd be possible. I really don't know how you would do it without blinking out one way or the other at some point. It'd be a tricky instance. It really would, the way the two of them work differently. Because even though soul travel is often described as a more intense astral travel, there is a drastic difference between them that separates them, which I lean toward that it's very unlikely, but theoretically possible, if that makes sense. All right. Your friends must love you as much as you keep asking questions for them. See, Mathis, I agree. I wouldn't want to grab one of those suckers for nothing. Honestly, real leprechauns, all the ones I've seen in the Fey realms. If you watch the movie Leprechaun, the horror movie, that seems to be closer to reality than any of the other leprechaun stories I've encountered, which surprised me because, you hear all these cuter stories and then there's this one oddball. And when I actually met them, that seemed to be the closer one. That actually ended up surprising me. I was not expecting them to be that vicious in reality. But yeah, that movie came closer to reality than the others. Yeah, there's a lot of entities that fall under that Fey umbrella and people don't realize it. Fey are probably the largest category of entity, because they do include so many different races and species and all that under that umbrella. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've ever tried, so I don't know, but I personally wouldn't advise it. And if my students or friend came up with the ideal, I'd probably suggest they go snipe hunting as opposed to leprechaun hunting. Sounds a bit more productive to life. Yes, I have projected into the etheric realms. I know a lot of people think the etheric realms and the astral realms are the same, which they do share a massive amount of traits. They really do. But the etheric realms do have a higher density, and they're less malleable than the astral, where the astral just like seems to shape randomly at will or chaotically. The etheric realms are far more tangible. But I have spent some time there. It's been a while because honestly, I spend more time in other planes at this point. I've been slacking when it comes to like higher planes and moving outside some of the lower planes, like the nine realms and other things, moving up into like the mental, the causal, closer to source kind of concepts. I have been slacking in my research of those. But again, you got to pick your battles as a magician. And I've got so much research. I wish I had time to do it all. Very happy to help, Peachy. All right, Sophia, what we got? Let's see here. Someone once told me catch a brownie and make it a slave. No, 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 no. Catching a brownie and making it a slave, bad, bad idea. So brownies are a type of fae. They're house spirits. They love to help your house. They love to take care of the house with you and your family. They'll even do some cleaning for you when you're not paying attention. You can't ever ask them to do it, but they will help out. If you piss them off, wrong them, or upset them, they will become what's called a bogart. And these are the exact opposite. Instead of helping, they literally cause trouble. They will destroy things in your house, break your TV. They will torment the family. They'll torment your pets. They'll screw up your plumbing, all these things. And if you magically attempt to enslave them, you're going to involve not just that entity, but the rest of the Fae as well. And that's a whole level of problems I don't think anyone wants. Yeah, they should be respected. They really should. Enslavement is by rule, enslavement is bad. I can't currently think of any instance where you can use the phrase enslavement and it's good. Never good. At least somebody got the snap joke. Thanks, Dichan. Thank you. I've taken a lot of people snipe hunting. In fact, I got one girl. She's gone out with the group snipe hunting now like 4 times. She's still looking for that snipe. Frigg should, yeah. Though Freyr and Freya are definitely going to be your better bets because they have the better access to the realms where they would be. Because Frey is going to have access, like Odin literally gave him the realm that the Light Elves live in. And Vanaheim, Freya still is pretty much the one that has the main access in and out of there. And they're not light elves, but you will encounter some elves in there. They're just more chaotic woodland. They're closer to Fae, but still not under Fae law. They're just older in terms of Fae, if you will. So those two would. Now, if you look at Frigg and Freya as the concept where a lot of people think they are the same goddess and or different aspects of the same goddess or a goddess split, you easily probably could get the information from Frigg. David McLean, there's nothing wrong with being an atheist. I mean, to each their own path, man. I wish you all the best no matter what you do. Really do. I mean, well, as long as you're not stirring trouble. I mean, you start stirring trouble, that would be an issue. But just don't stir no trouble. Be respectful. All's good. And I do wish you and your wife the best in whatever path you choose. Wait, didn't we have this conversation once already, David? Can't remember. Might not have been you. Might have been someone else, man. If you think you have a brownie in the house, just leave out some food or drink of any kind. A lot of people find that if you make, like when you make dinner for the family, if you create a spot in your house to work with the Fae, which I got a video coming out, might be this next week, working with the Fae in your house, but set a spot for the Fae that they know is theirs, and then you can set aside food, but you actually share the meal that you made for the family, so you divvy up their own personal portion for them. that really goes a long way to helping out. Because you're treating them as family. You're making them part of that family meal. And that is the key. The main difference between astral projection and soul travel, as I've always seen it in terminology, well, I should say older terminology, because when you get more modern, everyone wants to lump it together to oversimplify it, and then they wonder why the results start dropping. But astral travel is just an energetic projection, whereas soul travel is you, it's your consciousness, it's all of you that isn't your physical going out and projecting. And that's the drastic difference. And that's why soul travel, you get far more tangible results and it's more real. And honestly, you can't tell the difference between the planes and physical reality if you're doing soul travel right. And soul travel can take you further than astral travel can. There's a lot of planes you can't even reach through the astral. I hope that helps. Thanks for joining us, DeChan. Have a wonderful evening. 19 likes tonight, guys. This is great. We got 18 viewers and 19 likes. Keep those likes coming. Mathis, you're not wrong there. You're really not. You're really not. They do have numbers, and those numbers add up really quick. So, but if you're not just doing the meals, Emma, then yeah, Sophia's right. You could just do a simple offering of cream or whatnot, because they do all their work unseen, which does tend to make them mostly nocturnal. Though when you leave for work, if the house is actually empty, they may do work during the day as well. What have I been dismissive about? I've only seen one comment. Oh, I did miss one. I do apologize for missing that. And I have not friend request. If it's on Facebook, I've not been on Facebook in a while. So I apologize, David, but you know, I do the best I can to catch what comments I can. Sorry I missed it. But I do wish you the best, my man. Hey, Dennis, welcome back. I'm going to guess the dislike was probably David because of a misunderstanding. And that's cool, people. Don't worry about it. I mean, you can't make everybody happy. I try to read all comments. I really do. I, I thought his choice of path was acceptable. Didn't mean to be belittling if I came off that way, but that's cool. Everyone's got their own thing to do. I don't worry about that. And if it wasn't him, maybe somebody just didn't like my hat today. People get weird. It's all good. Just keep dropping the likes. We'll make up the difference. No, Maya, that would be a fair way to explain it. It's just a controlled out of body experience. Though a few people I've talked to say out of body experiences still to be to them were less tangible in ways. But then again, I've also had people with out-of-body experiences say they were very tangible. So I don't really know how to compare that particularly. But where most people who talk about out-of-body experiences, it is very tangible. It does seem to be very close to what soul travel's like. To the best of my knowledge, I've never had an out-of-body experience to compare it to, so I'd have to go by others' reports. But yeah, astral projection tends to be far less tangible. So I think you understood it. Guys, don't worry about it. You know, David's a good guy. He's messaged me quite a bit. He's going through some stuff, and I do wish him the best, and I hope he finds his way. I I'm not a religious person, so I'm not the right person to help anyone with religion in a lot of respects. I try if I can, but I'm not. So it's all good. No hard feelings. I wish him the best. I really do. I hope both him and his wife find what they're looking for and they prosper. He's a good guy. He is. Good heart. See what else we got here. Found your channel last week. I've been watching your videos. So excited to make it to a live. Hey man, hey Denny B, welcome, welcome, man. Glad you're enjoying the channel. Glad you're liking the videos and binge watching them. I hope you are taking the time to actually absorb the information as well as binge watching them. Or, well, you can always go back and rewatch them to absorb. I know a lot of people who like to binge watch, figure out what videos they want to focus on, and go back and take notes, which is a little weird for me to realize people are that interested in my videos. But it's also cool to see the information getting out there and to find so many people who are really getting value from this channel. That is awesome. Appreciate the compliment and definitely welcome to the channel. And glad you made a live stream, man. It's always good to see y'all here. It's one reason I love doing these. I get to reach out, cut up, answer questions, connect with y'all. It makes it a little easier. Sometimes it's easier to answer questions than do the videos. I can do more in depth on videos, but I can't cover as many questions. No curses on David. None. Yeah. Seriously, I'll protect David. I will. The man's a good man. I'll protect him. He's a good man. One is not enough. One watch. I actually had one person tell me they found my voice relaxing, so they was using my voice to meditate and fall asleep. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm not sure I've ever considered my voice relaxing though, but what do I know, right? Then again, I think everyone's voice sounds bad to them, so that could be part of the problem. I don't know. All right, let's see. Got any more questions? Yeah, they're using me as Iceman. Yeah. How to be a sarcastic butt. That's pretty much what I would be. Sarcasm's pretty much my second language. Which most of you who are in Discord voice chat know that by now. Well, actually, some of my analogies in the videos have probably pointed to that as well. Thank you, Peachy. Like I said, misunderstandings happen. He's a good guy. So, all right. Have I actually managed to catch up on all the questions? That's pretty amazing. That is amazing. I'm all caught up. Look at that. Well, if you ain't got questions, Bernaldus, you ain't got them. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do. Welcome, Samuel. Good to see you. And welcome to chat. It's always good to drop in for. Well, the first one's always a bit intimidating, people tell me. I try not to be intimidating. Hopefully, I'm not. And thank you for following the channel. Glad you're enjoying it. No matter, always good to know. The negotiations, as far as if you're talking about the interviews of people I did in my research, working paranormal cases, we're actually starting to get okay letters back for different cases and whatnot, so that I can actually start recording the cases and doing a voiceover video so that I can share those encounters with you all. Oh, Mab. Oh, Mab. Yeah, that's coming along great. Though both of them are path workings I have to fully work through and test out before I, publish it for other people. So those are going well. As to a release date, I do not know when those will be. So I'd say we'll see the Dragon Magic 102 and maybe even 103 before we see those. Flettle, you can go back through time in order to look at those places. The trick is just narrowing down the exact spot you're going, but you can do it. What's my favorite astral drink? I don't really do a lot of drinking or eating when I'm doing most of my travel, unless it's offered by my host. And that's only in very specific circumstances. Of course, never in the Fey realms will I eat or drink. So that said, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but the Chaos Ruler gave me a mug of something. It had a head on it, kind of like you would expect a beer to have, but its color was almost like a royal purple. And I can't even begin to explain its flavor to y'all, but there was just something about that. It was great. It was definitely it's almost like a sweet and tart at the same time, if that makes any sense. And full body flavor. I'm trying to even begin to explain it, but to this day, that's the one that sticks out most to me. I'm going to have to find out what it's called. Honestly, Samuel, almost any entity can send numeric messages, uh, but numerics are not one of my strong areas. So I wouldn't really want to try and narrow that down for you, but I have known almost any entity to do it. The trick is trying to figure out what the meaning of the numerics is, or try to figure out who's sending it. And I usually do that through meditation and divinations. That usually helps me find out who's sending it, which I use scrying for finding this stuff out because it's easier to get a more accurate read on who's sending it as opposed to tarot cards or runes because they give you descriptions, sure, but and sometimes I'll do that as a build up into the scrying. But if I can't get something through scrying, then I usually go to other entities to try and ask them for information and see if they can't find the information for me as well. Because I'm not a numbers guy. I'm really not. Anytime I work with numbers and numeric magic, I have to pull from notes and research. It's not an area I do a lot with. Mathis, I'm really glad to hear things are going well for you. And yeah, change comes. It gets rough sometimes. It gets chaotic, but it does really pan out in the end. Sometimes the journey's rough, but when you reach that finale, it's all worth it, and you realize it. But I am glad to hear everything's going well for you, man. Awesome. And I hope the answer helps you, Samuel. I really apologize because that's really the best I can do. Rest, man. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yes, we do have a Discord. The link's usually below most of the videos, and I'll make sure it's below this one when it goes live. I'm in there most days. You can talk to me in voice chat or just message me a question. I try to be available. Granted, this week I've been swamped. I apologize for that for everyone in Discord. But Peachy and Bernaldus and Halloween, they help me admin, as does Ani. And Peachy and Bernaldus are usually there and very helpful. And if they can't answer it, they'll make sure it gets to me. And we're building up just a great community in general over in Discord. Samuel, you're very welcome. I really didn't know if this channel would take off or work or whatnot, but it's been a real blessing because I do enjoy sharing knowledge and helping people better themselves. So I am glad to see so many people getting value out of it. And thank you very much for your support. When it comes to knowledge and wisdom, my go-to is Odin. You get him talking, you can't shut him up. Azazel, get him talking, you can't shut him up. Let's see, who else? Well, Zephyr-Seal, the ruler of air, that's another one. Get that one talking, they won't hush. Underworld deities are really great for knowledge as well because they do have the knowledge of all that have passed on. So that makes for a great well of knowledge that you can pull from. So Hades, Hell are great examples of those. You can try to approach the Norns in Norse mythology. Getting a straight answer out of them is not easy. It's really not easy. And they're more likely to point you in the direction of how to get it. Like, it's like, hey, I'm looking for this information. Well, let me give you a quest. And then you're like, oh, I just needed an answer. But they'll get you to the information. Thoth, I know a lot of people like working with Thoth. So those are some that I would recommend. Worked with directly. I've worked with some elves. I have worked with a few brownies and bogarts. Though most of it was just identifying what was in the house, and it's like, oh look, it's a brownie, and then just generally helping the family get connected and working with them. In the case of a bogart, it's basically trying to make amends and get it to calm down and revert back to a brownie. I have worked with a few pixies or fairies, those kinds. Mostly in woodland situations, though in the Fey realms, they're quite abundant. And yes, I do work with the elves a lot, though more the dark elves or the Svartalfheim from the Norse. I enjoy working with them a lot for different creative projects. I have worked with unicorns a time or two, though it's more of trying to herd them and deal with them and help the Fey with them. Mermaids, they are Fey, or at least some of them, and I have worked with them. Not as much. I don't know a lot about them. I've just kind of encountered them and had to help them with we'll call it a housing issue. And they were working with a water dragon at the point, and me as a dragon magic practitioner got carried along for the ride. So that was kind of fun. And of course, a few of the Fey lords and ladies I've worked with, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to get their names. And y'all know I've encountered Mab a time or two or three or more times than that. But she seems to be the one I get along the most with, weirdly. I can't say I've encountered the other queen. It's just we've not really worked. It's just more like talk, negotiated. We know who each other is. We trying to build a friendship with her, trying to get that dialogue opened. Runes do have a numeric association, so lay the runes down on that numeric and read the runes and see what comes up, man. Because the runes do have a numeric order and association that goes with them, so that might actually help you out. Check that out, especially if it increased during your work with the runes. Magical Malaya. Can people have a guardian dragon without asking for one? It is possible for a dragon to take a liking to a human when they're younger and to try and keep an eye on them, because dragons are in nature protective creatures, especially young entities of any kind. But once they get older, the dragon kind of takes a more and more hands-off approach. But you also have to understand that by the role and title of guardian dragon, it wouldn't be that. It would just be a dragon that's kind of looking after them for the time being. But it wouldn't be an official guardian dragon, if that makes sense. You actually do have to actively seek out a dragon to truly take that position and role. Now, it is possible that that dragon who took a liking in you, when you go to seek a guardian dragon, could get that role, but it still wouldn't be in that role specifically, if that makes sense. Ross, yes, we are looking. I've had a lot of people ask for my information in a book format. And I'm working to find some people to help me, because organizing my thoughts when typing, I'm not good at it. Anyone who's ever seen me type in Discord understands why I prefer voice chat. So we are looking at publishing a book or a series of books on dragon magic to also make the information available in a book format. And I'm wanting to get that done soon, but I don't really have any idea of when, because I'm still looking for someone to help work with me on that project. The one person that was talking to me kind of bailed. So I don't really think that they're going to be a go. So I have to replace them. But it is in the works, even if I have to pound it out myself somehow, some way. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people interested in the dragon magic and more sources because let's be honest, there are not a lot of sources, and most of the ones out there most people don't seem to like them. And I can understand why because everyone I've picked up, I've had my own issues with. Uh, and some people do better with books as opposed to videos. So I am trying to work on getting books out there so that we can match up for what works best for the seeker. A person cannot access your astral sanctum unless you allow it. So yeah, generally speaking, as long as you don't allow it, other humans can't access it. There are entities that can access it, powerful entities like deities, gods, the Fey queens, dragons. If they need to speak with you, that's a good place for them to pop in and be like, "Hey, I need to talk with you." But yeah, unless you give a human access, they should not be able to access it. Yeah, we are definitely doing well on the 5K challenge. We are almost halfway there. Halloween is not that far away. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, my wife is still planning and plotting on that. And she's wondering if y'all are going to pull it off. She really is. She's amazed at the growth we've made and how fast it is growing. But she seems skeptical. But she's still getting ready. So just remember, 5K by Halloween, and she gets to pick the costume. Now that doesn't necessarily mean drag, and kind of hoping it doesn't mean that. But knowing my wife, she might really enjoy embarrassing me. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. But the 5K challenge is still in place, and in fact, to make sure we get the 5K by updates, it'll even extend a little into November because sometimes YouTube don't update correctly. So I'm giving you all a little wiggle room for that. So if you get it before Halloween, I'll try and make it the stream closest to Halloween. If you hit it on Halloween, it'll be the first stream that we can get everything together afterwards. So remember that. It is still on. And I'll admit, as fast as the subs are growing, y'all got me worried. I think you're going to do it. Which reminds me, actually, the admin of the Discord server told me to inform you all that should you all hit 5K by Halloween, not only will there be the 5K challenge where I get dressed up, but each of them will do a drawing for 2 names, and they're going to pay for 2 people to get into the Dragon Magic 101 course for that drawing. So 2 Dragon Magic 101 courses will also be given out if the 5K challenge is won. So to Bernoldus and Peachy for making that offer and raising that bar, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all not planting that seed of information into my wife's head on purpose. Well, I mean, yeah, Conway was a sweet lady. She really was. I don't know if I can say she passed the baton to me. I mean, it's kind of interesting to think of, but I I guess in a way, because you know, I am kind of carrying on that research, and she definitely is the one who helped set me on this path, even though it drastically differs. Um, and having the opportunity to speak with her, I won't forget that. I really won't. I just wish I just wish you'd have had a chance to see what this channel and what you all were able to get from it and get to see the next step. I think that's the one thing. Look at me, you got me all choking up here and shit. Uh, I get my game face on. But yeah, that was a cool thing for me to know that she supported my work and what the dragons had laid out as well, and encouraged me as well to share it. Hey, Felicia, thank you for joining us. If I missed your question, I am so sorry. Um, feel free to ask it again. If it's in the comment section of the YouTube videos, I try to answer those. But if it's here, I'm sorry I missed it. I got a lot of things flying through here. Oh wait, I think I see it. Was the one thing dragons want most, or wait, where is it? The thing dragons want most is balance. They want to make sure things are balanced, remain balanced, and grow and progress. They want to see a balanced progression. Now, if you're talking offerings, honestly, the thing they want most is a genuine friendship and relationship with the ones they're working with. So your friendship is the greatest offering you can give them. Outside that, energy offerings are probably some of their favorite on a broad spectrum. Individual dragons might have an individual thing, like X Boon Well, one of the prosperity dragons that I've shared on the channel. Dude loves pork rinds, really does. So you can look at the individuals, but as a category, if you just say dragons in general, they do enjoy just energy offerings. So charge a stone or a crystal or something, and set that offering and energy down in your workspace for them if you want to. But hands down, the best thing you can offer them is friendship. And thank you for watching the channel and supporting us. I appreciate it. Little, I won't lie. This is one area where entities I've worked with in the past, and I've got a working relationship. They can wander in and out of my house at free will. I don't mind. So they tend to just pop in, sometimes in the most awkward of times, but they will do it. Being in the shower not being the most awkward I've seen. But now, entities I haven't worked with, they will try a lot of things to get my attention, and I'm a very dense person, so they have to keep ramping it up and ramping it up until they get my attention. So I'm not really a good person to say this is how I always know they're talking to me, because sometimes I get it quick, sometimes I'm denser than a brick wall, and they really, really have to just basically pop right up in front of me while I'm watching TV and be like, "Hey, stupid, I'm talking to you," or even pop into my sanctum because I just really am that dense sometimes. Um, because I am naturally a skeptic. So if I hear something, generally my brain tries to debunk it first rather than just assume I'm hearing it. So yeah, they really have to hit me with a ball bat several times in most cases. Upper notice, you told me to make the offer, my man. Um, can a Comag and a Guard? No, no, they are not supposed to. They are supposed to remain focused on one human at a time because of the information the dragons share and teach, and the fact that the work and energetic changes are ongoing even while you sleep. So they are not supposed to divide their time and attention. I know of a Comac who attempted it and got in trouble for it. You know what? A friendship bracelet might be a good offering, Emma. That really might. I never thought about it. And I grew up in the 80s. Huh, how about that crap? Didn't even think of that. I mean, they want the genuine friendship, but yeah, something that represents friendship would be a great start because, yeah, they're more actual. They want that real bond, that genuine friendship like you would share with a person. That's not an item, but as a representation of intent, friendship bracelet is a great idea. I like that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. They can learn from us. They enjoy learning about humans, our culture, our foods. Um, Definitely our foods. I've noticed dragons really take a liking to foods, whether it be wine, meat, salads, herbs, Twinkies, um, gourmet foods. I mean, they really do love it. Yeah, it did not occur to me. Pork rinds just seems so weird to me. But more students kept saying that this dragon's asking for this, and it's like, well, crap, that's what he kept asking me for. And then one of my old teachers like, well, that makes sense. He's a prosperity dragon, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, pigs are one of the animals that represent prosperity. Pork rind. I was like, duh, that makes so much sense. But yeah, the dude likes pork rind, and I ain't knocking him. I love pork rinds myself. I want a friendship bracelet of tattoos of the rulers with their permission. Dude, that would be an awesome tattoo. If you get there okay, once you get through all 9 rulers, I would love to see a picture of that tattoo. I really would. That would be freaking awesome. That would. All right, we're sitting at an hour and 23, so we're going to start winding up here in a little bit. So if you got any last minute questions, let me know so that we can get those out of the way. I want to make sure if you have any immediate questions or anything, we get those. So I don't leave you waiting too long. And checking, yes. Let's see here. Yep, okay, cool. So yes, next week's video should be working with the Fey in your home. So for those of you with all your Fey questions, I told you I'm trying to get more Fey videos done. Next one is coming out next week. Definitely keep an eye on that. I know the Fey are getting to be a hot topic, and I am trying to get more and more information. And because of that, I'm spending more and more time in the Fey realms, which, it's really nice. It really has been nice. Chaotic, but nice. It's really nice to get back and start working with these entities without it just being, because the dragons are dragging me over there to help out. So it's been a lot of fun for me. I appreciate it. You guys actually kind of helped spur me and get me going in my own research and growth. I appreciate it. Oh, what was the first signs I felt when Odin contacted me? Okay. The first sign was very clearly in meditation. I felt this presence and I was trying to focus on it. And very clearly, I saw this old guy in a seat just kind of sitting back with a spear in his hand, big, long beard, eye patch. And I knew enough about mythology at that point in my life. It's like, I know who this is. I'm pretty sure I know who this is. So I tried to do some research. And back in the day, there wasn't much good research where I was. And y'all know I'm a caveman in a digital world. So internet wasn't really my forte. And the one book I was able to find did not paint the Norse in a good light at all, period. And I was like, want no part of it, no, bye. And I spent the next probably 9 years or so avoiding Odin and Freya. Yet he constantly would pop up in meditations, asking to speak with me. He would even answer questions that I was asking other entities. He'd be like, hey, look, here's what you need to do. And Freya actually got her foot in the door before Odin, really did. And she built the friendship with me and everything. And she was finally the one that's like, look, you need to do a bit more research into the Norse pantheon because you really got a misunderstanding of us. So out of respect for her, I did. And I found out, yep, I was an idiot. This is why I always recommend research more than one source. Because I'm a product of why that's a bad idea to just use one source. And so once I found out more about him and everything, I reached out to him to see what was up, see why he was so interested in me, and to apologize, of course, for giving him the runaround. And from that day forward, me and that dude, we've really got along. I mean, he's been a good friend and ally for me for years. I actually kind of regret it, but at the same time, he keeps telling me not to worry about it. It was a learning experience, and the wisdom would be more valuable. So, as much as I regret the running, I try to pay attention to the wisdom. You'd be surprised. I mean, some of the simplest things really can be a good idea. I mean, when you're talking a physical representation of friendship, that's what those bracelets are. So, that's actually a really good idea. That's a general good rule of thumb there, Jacob. Yep. Don't tick off the Fey. Good rule of thumb. Don't worry about your typing. I misspell things all the time. Let's see. Mysterious tap. What are the best magical working / goal to call on the Fey for? What are some of the goals where the Fey are less helpful? Honestly, that's actually one that I do find interesting. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. It's not the Fey in general. It's what is your working. Once you know what your working is, it's about finding the right Fey that can help that working. As far as is there a goal that the Fey are against? By and large, no. I've not found one singular thing where the Fey's like, screw that, not touching it. When it comes to magical goals, if you look, you can find a Fey that'll help you. So like most people's like Fey or nature spirits, not all of them. There's a lot of Fey that love urban environments. They love the cities. You will not find them in a forest. They hate the forest. So it depends on the Fey you're working with. And you can't even just like say fairies. Like there are fairies that love urban environments. Same thing with pixies and brownies and elves. So it's about finding the Fey entity to help you with the working you're working on. So if you can find that, you're in a good spot. And that's why a lot of people do have trouble working with Fey, because I can't find a book that actually starts stating this. And part of the path working that the queens are talking about is addressing this. Now, mind you, this is strictly early what they're talking about. So this is subject to change, but they're talking about each one of them presenting 6 lords and ladies of their court that you'll be working with throughout half the year, because the Fey courts switch hemispheres at half of the years, so that you're working the path working when that particular court is in charge. And you learn from these particular lords and ladies, and these lords and ladies, they actually do have specific things they excel at, and they're going to be sharing that information with us. And those are going to also supposed to be introducing us to some Fey that fall under their position that can help us further, which would be pretty cool if that's the way it holds up. It is. It's a lot of work, and that's really the hardest part of working with Fey or dragons. It's building that relationship. I'd say Fey's harder because there's more rules to dance around. But yeah, it is that relationship, because technically speaking, if you're working with a reasonably powerful Fey and you've built a friendship, like let's say you meet a pixie. We're going to go pixie. And you build a good friendship with this pixie. That pixie can use its magic, to my knowledge, for any type of magic that you want to. So if it's your friend, it can essentially help you power whatever magic it is you want to do. But the friendship is how you're going to get that to happen. The Fae are more finicky. There's more loopholes and rules to deal with. They can be harder to build relationships. A few more potholes that you could possibly fall into working with the Fae. Whereas angels are pretty easy to work with as long as you follow their rules of order. It's like they will only do this. It has to fall within their little "this is what I do" bracket. But if you mess up, they're just like, ain't going to help you. But there's normally no tangible kickback. Demons are popular to work with because they're more chaotic. So you want help, you go to a demon, it's like, I want to do this. They're like, okay, let's get you there. The downside is they're going to try and get you there as quickly as possible, which can bring drastic and chaotic change into your life quickly that you may or may not be ready for. They're not meaning it in any malice. They're just shortest point between 2 points. And they're doing it from their point of view, which not all people are ready for that kind of change. But they're the easiest to work with because they don't really have the rules and limitations other entities might place. Deities, honestly, for most people, are the easiest place to start with because they really can pretty much do anything you want. I mean, we try to label them and categorize them as god of random thing here, god of this, but they're not limited by that. What do some people call them? Portfolio. They really can help you in any area, but they are some of the easier to approach. They are pretty generally mild to deal with, as opposed to, like, they're not as rigid as angels and they're not as chaotic and drastic as demons. And they usually don't have the rules that you have to jump through with the Fae. Whew! I hope that summarized it. That was a big question. That would be a good thing to do if you can do it. I've not actually tried to make any friendships with a dryad, so I don't really have any major tips. The few I do have is just, care for the area around it, care for the tree, and if you can, offer water to the tree, those kinds of things. Those are the general ones I know, but other than just caring for the area and the tree, I've never done enough with dryads that I could say, here's what I would do, because it's not. It's not an area I've worked too much in. I apologize. Mathis, don't worry about it. It happens, man. We got 25 likes, and that's awesome. The bigger the channel gets, the dislikes will come. It all happens. Well, he does have a wife, but we don't even know. Neither one of them might be David. It could just be a coinky dink. No worries. I mean, we got 25 likes. That's awesome. I'm honored we got that. You all have been great. And I do thank you for your support. But we will go ahead and wind up here. So, like I said, we do have the Fey video coming out on Tuesday. I am still working to get Dragon Magic 102 out this year. It might be New Year's, but I am trying this for this year. The Dragon Magic 101 course is available. So if you're interested in Dragon Magic, pop over to workingdragonmystic.com. Check that out. It's already available. It's about a 6 to 9 month course, roughly. There's a lot of info in there. If you're interested in supporting the channel and the work that we do, there is a Patreon. Again, that can be found in the About section or in the description of the videos when they're posted. When this one goes live for replay, it'll be in there. There's 3 tiers. They all have increasing things. Some of them even have discounts to merchandise, classes, and monthly spell work just to help you out. We do have a Discord where the community hangs out. And it seems like I'm always forgetting something, man, people. What am I forgetting this time? Oh, and be sure to join us Sunday. We're doing another live stream Sunday. It's probably going to be another solo coffee hour, but we will be streaming Sunday as well. So join us over there. And if you haven't, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you do get notified anytime we release a new video. And I believe it gives notifications for live streams before they go live. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I hope it does. All right. With that said, everyone, you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the awesome questions. It's been a blast. As always, you do ask great questions. I enjoy answering them, so I appreciate it. And until next time, y'all take it easy and good luck in your research and keep those results coming. Bye-bye.